Good afternoon and welcome to LTCC News. I'm Amber Smith.
And I'm Elizabeth Nafee. We have a full show ahead today, starting with the 2016 presidential race. Hillary Clinton is clearly running for president, but who said the road to the White House was going to be easy? Clinton has faced a lot of criticism, from foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation to her close ties with President Obama. This week, Clinton made her first appearance in New Hampshire as a 2016 presidential candidate.
On the Republican side, the New Hampshire summit took place over the weekend and no clear frontrunner was to be found. Some major takeaways. The GOP is eager to contrast themselves with Clinton, while foreign policy and Common Core education dominated the discussion. But the biggest news for Republicans comes in new polling. According to a new CNN and ORC survey, Jeb Bush is the current frontrunner for Republican voters, with 17% likely to support him. But before he announces, he's got some choice words for the GOP.
We could focus on all of our disparate parts, all the points of disagreement that conservatives have, and never win again.
And his position on immigration is currently against GOP leadership.
To legal status.
The former governor is prepping to travel to Germany, Poland, and Estonia in the next month to help flex his foreign policy credentials. The poll has also reported that voters found Bush to have the best chance to defeat the Democratic nominee.
This past Sunday, hundreds of people gathered to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Domestic terrorist Timothy McVeigh and his co-conspirators set off an enormous truck bomb in downtown Oklahoma City. The blast killed 168 people, including 19 children. Bill Clinton was the first president.
You have inspired us with the power of your renewal. You have reminded us that we should all live by the Oklahoma standard.
On Saturday, a ship said to be coming from Libya capsized off the coast of the Italian island of Lampedusa. The ship was carrying immigrants from many countries in Africa and the Middle East. These people were seeking safety from conflict and persecution from their home nations. Only 28 people of a reported 850 aboard survived the tragedy. According to the New York Times, migrant deaths are on an alarming rise. In the past month alone, about 1,300 immigrants have perished on their journey to better lives in Europe. This is mostly due to the problem of human traffickers taking advantage of these migrants and sending them across the sea in overcrowded and extremely unsafe boats. European Council President Donald Tusk will address this growing humanitarian issue in a summit to be held later today.
And ISIS is at it again. A new video, which was released on Sunday, showed Ethiopian Christians being captured and killed in Libya. The video is too graphic to show here, but first it starts off with Christians being lined up and then kneeling on a beach, and then they were beheaded. Back in the States, 6 American men were arrested in Minnesota for planning to join ISIS. In a conversation recorded by the FBI, one of the men described his disgust with America, saying, quote, "The American identity is dead. Even if I get caught, whatever, I'm through with America."
We'll be right back after this break, but when we return, we'll discuss several ways transportation is being updated to further protect commuters.
They have the wrong script in there. Okay.
We're coming back on 2 and then going right to 1. 7, 6, 5,
2. Welcome back to LTCC News. Last year, consumers across America were excited to see a dip in oil prices, but today it seems like prices may be rising again. Since 2014, oil production grew in the United States, and in the past 8 years, the supply for oil has been at its highest. The price increase is caused by the United States supply and China's attempt to accelerate the economy. Analysts hope that the market will bounce later in the year.
Police have amped up ticket enforcement at railroad crossings as a result of last month's series of deadly train crashes in New York and California. The Federal Railroad Administration has called for an increase in citations to begin a campaign regarding railroad safety. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority reports that police are issuing 6 times as many summons than last year. Common infractions include driving around gates and stopping on tracks. There are 28 crossings in Dutchess County, and 19 accidents have occurred in the last 4 decades. This number may drop as recent legislation has allowed for hundreds of millions of dollars to be allocated to railway safety.
Listen up, commuters. Metro North may be going through some changes. They hope to make railroads safer and faster. Senator Charles Schumer introduced a bill that would require Metro North to follow the Positive Train Control safety system. This system is a follow-up to a bill that was approved in March to improve railroad technology. Schumer says that the bill would improve inspection practices and enhance safety. Now we go to LTCC News reporter Alyssa Bianca to find out how police are trying to keep roads safer.
Does this site look familiar to you? You just got out of work, can't wait to get home. You get into your car. And then finally, check your texts. If all of this is looking familiar, you might want to get used to this site as well.
New York police officers are cracking down on those who text while driving. In fact, recent polls show that the number of texting tickets given out has shot up by 50% in Westchester County alone and over 35% in Rockland and Putnam counties.
I got a ticket for texting and driving, and I'd never received a ticket before, so this is really scary, my first ticket. Now I know they're taking this seriously.
First offense texting fines are now as high as $200. However, as motorcyclist Lee Wallace states, the real cost of texting while driving is the safety of everyone on the road.
I've gotten nearly hit a number of times, and again, it's the most frightening thing, far worse, in my opinion, than drunk driving, than any other kind of distraction.
Driving hands-free with LTCC, I'm Alyssa Bianca.
Thanks, Alyssa. A Connecticut man was arrested twice after using a fake ID to try to avoid a drunk driving arrest. Jose Ramirez was pulled over in Fishkill for traveling extremely slow in a 50-mile-per-hour zone, leading to his arrest for driving while intoxicated. However, Ramirez's crimes did not end there. Shortly after his release from custody, the police discovered that he used a fake name and an ID in an attempt to avoid his prior arrest. The authorities soon found him at a nearby plaza and arrested him again with charges of false impersonation, forgery, and falsifying records.
The Drug Enforcement Agency Chief Michelle Leonard is stepping down. Her departure comes after she poorly handled a congressional hearing that found DEA agents using drug cartel money to pay for prostitutes in Colombia. Leonard will be retiring from the agency after 35 years. An Attorney General nominee was confirmed this week, and now we go to reporter Rose Shannon for the details.
Senate leaders announced this week plans for a confirmation vote for Loretta Lynch, President Obama's nominee for Attorney General. This announcement comes after a long-standing issue over a language in a human trafficking bill regarding abortion was resolved between members of both parties. Loretta Lynch has been waiting 5 months for a confirmation vote, longer than any other nominee in history. On Friday, President Obama expressed his frustration over the situation.
What we still have is this crazy situation where a woman who everybody agrees is qualified, Sitting there longer than the previous 7 Attorney General nominees combined. And there's no reason for it. Nobody can describe a reason for it beyond political gamesmanship in the Senate.
In addition, on Sunday, Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland, agreeing with the president, called the nomination process outrageous.
I agree with President Obama. Loretta Lynch should have been on the floor for a vote well before now. This is the longest any Attorney General nominee has had to wait, and it's outrageous. She should be confirmed. This is an critically important position.
A vote is expected sometime in the upcoming week. Rose Shannon, LTCC News.
Thank you, Rose. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned for your sports update and to find out which ESPN reporter was suspended this past week.
Thank you, Amber. We begin on the ice with your NHL. Thank you, Amber. We begin on the ice with your NHL playoff schedule. The National Hockey League has announced an updated start time for the 20.
Can you see the bottom?
I just come from the Red Sox game with my mom, and I had a friend that was finishing around 2:33, and we were outside the Peru, and
Welcome back to LTCC News. We now head to our own Caitlin LaFaro to find out what's going on in the sports world. Caitlin?
Thank you, Amber. We begin on the ice with your NHL playoff schedule. The National Hockey League has announced an updated start time for the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs. The first round games scheduled for tonight, Thursday, April 23rd, are as follows. Game 5 of the series between the Washington Capitals and New York Islanders is set for 7 p.m. in Washington, D.C. Game 5 of the series between the Nashville Predators and Chicago Blackhawks is set for 9:30 in Nashville. Game 5 of the series between the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames is set for 10 p.m. in Vancouver. And finally, Game 4 of the series between the Tampa Bay Lightning and Detroit Red Wings is set for 7 p.m. in Detroit. In other news, for the 4th straight postseason, Cleveland superstar LeBron James is trying to shield himself from the outside world, saying he doesn't need any distractions while he and the Cavs chase a title. Other NBA teams chasing the 2015 championship title include Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Boston Celtics tonight at 7, the Chicago Bulls playing the Milwaukee Bucks tonight at 8, and the Golden State Warriors playing the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 9:30. Make sure you tune in next week for all of your scores and highlights. Heading over to the baseball field now to report that Boston Red Sox David Ortiz has been suspended for 1 game after bumping home plate umpire John DuPain. The 39-year-old slugger was frustrated after a call in Sunday night's game made by third base ump Jerry Meals. He ruled that he was not able to check his swing on a 1-1 count. On Tuesday night, Ortiz announced to reporters that he has decided to fight the call. The MLB has also joined in on the fun, requiring Ortiz to pay a fine if his appeal isn't rescinded. Ortiz remains in the Red Sox lineup awaiting his fate. Back in New York, Yankee Alex Rodriguez is only 2 home runs away from tying Willie Mays' #4 spot at 660 in all-time home runs. But is anyone really counting? A-Rod's reputation plummeted after his suspension was announced back in 2014, where he was suspended for an entire season due to performing enhancement drugs. A-Rod has been informed by House Steinbrenner and team president Brandy Levine that his once potential milestone is now but a hurdle. So the question remains, is anyone counting? Will his fans cheer him on or boo him as he bats? Yankee manager Joe Girardi says that he really doesn't know what will happen there, but that he will let the guys do whatever they want to do. The New York Mets are on the heels of their longest winning streak. The team record is 11, last done in 1990. The closest they came was back in 2008 when they held a 10-game run. Last night, they won their 10th straight game this season, beating the Atlanta Braves 3-2. As we wrap up your LTCC sports news, we are happy to report that local Hopewell Junction native and San Francisco rookie giant Joe Panik received his first World Series ring on Saturday during the Giants' 3rd World Series ring ceremony. And that will do it. I'm Caitlin LaFaro, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Caitlin. Now we go to reporter Taylor LaQualia for an update on the recent ESPN controversy involving an on-air personality.
ESPN sports reporter Britt McHenry has broke the internet with controversy regarding the video of her recent verbal attack of a towing truck company employee. McHenry was paying to retrieve the car when she began to berate the attendant helping her.
Just want to clarify that. Do you feel good about your job? So I could be a college dropout and do the same thing? I have to drive a brain and you don't?
Since the incident, McHenry has received a 1-week suspension from ESPN. However, many viewers and longtime fans are not pleased with how the infamous sports news organization is handling the matter. Social media sites such as Twitter have become a shooting range for McHenry's actions, and people are not having a problem aiming their shots and firing away. The hashtag #FireBrittMcHenry has been taking Twitter by storm and has allowed users to share in their disgust for the sports reporter's actions. One man tweets, "If I was any athlete that had any respect towards the average American, I would refuse to do interviews with Britt McHenry." While another says, "1 week is not enough, ESPN. Fire Britt McHenry, or I'll consider your lack of appropriate action an endorsement of bullying." On the other side of this controversy is New York Post writer Kyle Smith, who believes ESPN acted unfairly. He suggests they get the full story, saying, ESPN is supposed to be a journalistic outfit. Maybe it should get both sides of the story before jumping to conclusions. We spoke with Marist College Assistant Professor of Sports Communications, Dr. Tim Marabito, to weigh in on the controversial issue.
As far as the punishment that she received, it's difficult to say what's appropriate and what's not at this point. It's certainly a situation where there's more attention paid to what she has going on, because social media just makes it available to all of us.
For LTCC News, I'm Taylor LaQualia.
Thank you, Taylor. This past Monday marked the 2-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. One local college student was chosen to play her inspiring tribute song at the starting line in Hopkinton before the race commenced. Berkeley College senior Carly Teft wrote the song "Keep on Running" after her experience on that tragic day. After catching a Red Sox game, Teft was on her way to the finish line to support a friend running in the marathon, but at the last minute decided to take a detour.
I just come from the Red Sox game with my mom, and I had a friend that was finishing around 2:33, and we were outside the Peru, and just on a whim we said, oh, let's grab some lunch inside the Peru, and 10 minutes later the whole Prudential building shook.
Little did Teft know that a bomb had just gone off at the finish line and everything had changed. Helping people continue to heal following the 2013 marathon brings Teft even more joy. She says music helps communicate the complex emotions brought forth by such powerful events. Teft will be giving all proceeds on iTunes to benefit Massachusetts Eye and Ear.
We'll be right back, but when we return, we'll have your local weather forecast. You don't want to miss it.
This still on? Yeah, it's red. All right. You want this here? I don't need that. So, wait, what are you asking? Because this is going to be on. Do you see yourself on like the... Oh, yeah, keep it there. Keep it there. Hi, I'm Jackie. Thanks, Liz. While spring is finally on its way, the rain isn't quite over yet. Today, we should be expecting overcast with rain showers at times with temperatures reaching up to 50 degrees. I don't know. For weather? Yeah, but I hate it now. I hate this! Hi, I'm Jackie. Here's the weather. Am I going to see myself on that? Great. Sunshine and rainbows and happiness.
Now we go to our very own Jackie Lopez with an update on this week's weather.
Thanks, Liz. While spring is finally on its way, the rain isn't quite over yet. Today, we should be expecting overcast with rain showers with the temperature reaching up to 50 degrees this afternoon, with a 40% chance of rain. Don't expect to see the stars tonight, as there will be passing clouds with a low of 31 degrees. Luckily, there is a 0% chance of rain, which will continue to be the trend over the weekend. As we can see here, the tri-state area is looking a bit drier than the rest of the country. We will steer clear of the rain within the next 48 hours. The 5-day forecast will keep up with the cloudy weather and mild temperatures. Tomorrow, we have a low of 31 and a high of 52. Temperatures are going to stay relatively the same throughout the weekend, with a break from the rain. I know I'm getting antsy for the warmer weather to come and summer to be here, but it seems to be coming slowly but surely. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Jackie. This past weekend's weather was a problem for a local man who went missing after kayaking on the Hudson River near Orange County. Vincent Viafore's kayak capsized due to choppy water and windy conditions on Sunday night. He was with another Poughkeepsie native, Angelica Grasswald, who called 911 after she also tumbled from the kayak and was rescued by a boater. Police patrols and helicopters searched late into Sunday night and Monday morning, but were unable to find Viafore, who was not wearing a life jacket. Both kayaks were found, and the search effort is ongoing, according to local police.
Since 2012, the Wappinger Central School District has been paying 75% of James Parla's health insurance. Parla, the district's former superintendent, is expected to continue receiving benefits for the rest of his life. The reason for this? Parla threatened to engage the district in a lawsuit if they cut his funds. In March of 2012, the district board voted 7-2 in favor of paying for Parla's insurance. According to Lori Giava, the board president, at the time of the deal, this decision was the result of a strong legal advice. Various attorneys told the trustees that giving in to Parla's demands would be less expensive for the district, and also it would help avoid a lawsuit altogether.
Former Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson has announced in an op-ed on the Sunday Times, quote, "I'm having another baby, but I can't tell you what it will look like." The recently fired host wrote he was battling the possibility of cancer, his divorce, and his mother's death, all around the time of the fracas that led to his sacking. Clarkson spoke about the show as the most important thing in his life, saying, "Top Gear always came first. The hole it's left behind seems to stretch for eternity, and I've somehow got to fill it." Clarkson closed his column saying he'll make another car show, but admits he's unsure of what it will look like.
The movie series known for its speed, Fast and the Furious, has now become the quickest movie ever to launch $1 billion. This is the world record that surpasses movies such as such as the Harry Potter series. The 7th movie in the series, starring Vin Diesel and late Paul Walker, has led to the U.S. box office for 3 consecutive weekends, with earnings over $1 billion. Oh my gosh. And it's the 7th film of all time. It's the not only thing breaking world records, but the song "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa from the movie soundtrack received more Spotify streams in 24 hours than any other track in the U.S. and also topped the UK chart as the fastest selling single of 2015. And after the break, we'll be right back, but we have more news and entertainment. Stay tuned. And welcome back to LTCC News. The 50th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards was held on Sunday night at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan hosted the event for the 3rd year. This year's award show made a Guinness World Record for being the most attended live award show of all time. Among the night's big winners, Bryan was fan voted as Entertainer of the Year, while Miranda Lambert won Female Vocalist of the Year, Song of the Year for Automatic, and the Album of the Year for Platinum. 7 honorees were awarded the 50th Anniversary Milestone Award, including George Strait, Reba McEntire, and Taylor Swift.
Well, I think Taylor Swift's mom just absolutely stole the show with that beautiful speech that she
with
gave.
her speech.
And Miranda Lambert took home everything. She deserves it, though.
She does.
Absolutely.
But I think Luke Bryan always steals the show. When I was at Tennessee, I would go to all his concerts, and he was just amazing.
Absolutely. I absolutely think he deserves Entertainer of the Year. Well, that's all we have for today. Make sure to tune in next week for your national and Hudson Valley news coverage. I'm Amber Smith.
And I'm Elizabeth Nafee. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for tuning in.